What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. I am, of course, your host, Reckless Rex Ruger. That's the Freddie Mercury puppet. We are back with another incredible episode. It's what we do, kids, and we ain't about to change it now. Before we get to it, I will, of course, address the proverbial elephant in the room. You're looking at the smoldering good looks, the luscious blonde locks. I will confirm for you that, yes, indeed, you are looking at the one and only love child of one Diamond David Lee Roth. I'm not sure if I should still even be proud of that fact, but it is what it is. Not going to bemoan the point. I digress. We're going to move on. As I said, another incredible episode. My guest will be joining us here shortly. Before I get to it, I'll give you the obligatory promotional spiel because, as you know, kids, if you got a podcast, you got to pimp it. The pimp hand is feeling very strong today. Let's give it a shot. Make sure to tap into Pod Scum on Facebook. Our handle is Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. Don't be confused, kids. Got two separate shows, one Facebook account. The handle is Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. Same handle on Instagram, Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. See what I've done there for you guys? I've dumbed it down for you guys and me. Believe me, I need things dumbed down. And of course, if you're watching us here right now, Facebook is great. Instagram is great. Great promotional tools. You can catch little reels, snippets of these interviews on Instagram. But if you want the full meat and potatoes, the entire conversation, you want to feast your eyes and ears on it, this is where you need to be. If you are here, please like, subscribe, and here's the most important part, smash that notification bell. It's important. We all want to be in the loop. We all want to be in the know. This will make sure that you are privy when new content drops. As you know, I'm dropping new stuff every single week for you guys. Sometimes it's an episode. Sometimes it's multiple episodes. You guys know, just depends on how productive our week has been and how many interviews I'm able to run down. But if I get stuff, I like to roll it out to you guys ASAP. I don't sit on interviews. I like to get them out to you guys within a couple of days of recording them so that they are fresh. The information is current. Plus, I'm like a kid in a candy store. I can't keep a secret. I can't keep anything under my hat. I'm terrible at that kind of stuff. So, same goes with my podcast episodes. I get one, I got to get it out there. I've even tried a deadline before. I've tried to say, let me release an episode once a week on this day. I can't hold myself to it. I can't do it. I'm weak, folks. I'm weak. And I'm disclosing that to you guys here. You know, your boy Reckless Rex, a man of the people. I'm here to share with you guys. And I'm also here to ramble on and on until my guest gets in here, which I can continue to do because I've got other stuff to let you guys know. Of course, at the time of this recording, it is Friday, December 19th. We are just 6 days away from Christmas. New episodes might slow down a bit in the next 3 or 4 weeks, given the fact that it is the holiday and people are spending it with their loved ones. And my guest is here, so now I can finally shut up and we can get down to it, man. I'm super excited for this one. Really looking forward to it, man. So here we go. Let's get down to it with my guy, KIRK. And there he is. What's up, big guy?
Yo, what's happening?
What a strong beard game. I've always admired your beard game. I really have, man.
Oh, shit, hang on. I'm having a little issue.
It's absolutely incredible, man. You should be very proud of that beard.
Hang on. Thank you. There you are.
Yep. You just got to get the camera. There should be a camera icon down at the bottom of your screen there.
There we go.
There you go. How's it going, man?
Going good, man.
And so we
thank you.
And so we were just talking on the phone, before we got on here, and we're already off and running, man. So you did tough out your most recent tour. You have been dealing with some back issues. I can obviously relate. I told you I've had some back surgeries and some issues myself. So I think fans would probably like to know, especially since they saw you on this recent tour, doing some of the tours sitting down. How are you feeling?
I mean, 1,000,000 times better than I was. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I was telling you on the phone, I have a bilateral synovial cyst on my lower spine that what happened was at the time it was pressing against my spinal cord and it was excruciating, as you can imagine. I mean, anything involving the spine, something pressing the spinal cord is not good. So,
no.
But, back in the gym, trying to eat best I can during the holidays. It's
hard.
Pretty damn tough. Trying to keep the diet and the beer and all that shit to right on point and no beer or something, for a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, certain days you're like, fuck, it's the holidays, I mean,
Yeah. Everything in moderation, right?
I mean, absolutely. But I
You
mean,
have
like
to.
even
Yeah.
talking to my chiropractor and she's in good shape, but she's like, she goes, the whole month I just say screw it, I'm just rolling with whatever's going on
Right.
at all these Christmas parties and shit. And I'm like,
Yeah.
most people do, but I mean, I'm trying to do my best, but in general, I'm doing great at things.
Was that difficult for you as a guy who plays extreme metal? There is a physicality to the music that you do. You are up there with the guitar around your shoulders, your head banging. Was it hard for you to do that tour seated?
Well, one thing I found out is it's extremely difficult to sing sitting down when your torso is basically like at a 90-degree angle or whatever it would be.
Yeah.
Because your diaphragm, I do sing from my diaphragm. I don't just sing from throat.
Right.
So even though I have this is my natural speaking voice anyway. It's just low
Yeah.
and gravelly. But so yeah, it was pretty tough to do it. I mean, mentally, at first I was in so much pain. I didn't even think about it. Once I started feeling better and I could actually walk around a little bit, everybody in the band was like, dude, don't push it. Don't try to stand up and sing, because if you lose your balance or, some guy comes flying over the crowd or something,
Yeah.
I mean, all the shows were packed or sold out. So it was like,
Yeah.
and people don't realize when you're on stage with the lighting, for the most part, I can only see the first 3 rows of people anyway. I can't see what the fuck's going on in the back,
Right. Yeah. You don't need. Yeah. You don't need any bodies being hurled at you.
No, especially being like pretty much immobile. It would have been like, I'm like, no,
Yeah.
just sit down and finish it out. At the end of the last show in New Orleans, I did stand up at the end, which, just to thank everybody or whatever, which was cool. But it was still hard to do that, But I mean, I was able to do. We'll play with Down and do the Louder Than Light Festival standing, albeit not very mobile, but I did, and that was a little what would you call it? That was a goal of mine, and I did it, the whole show, and so that was important to me. But I had no issues on the Headbangers boat, and hopefully, if everything keeps rolling like it is, I'll be fine for the foreseeable future. So.
Yeah. Now you did mention, man, that you were 60 years old. CROWBAR, if I'm not mistaken, is got 12 complete albums under you guys' belt.
Exactly.
Not that fans want you guys to go anywhere anytime soon, but where are you finding stuff to say? Do you still have more stuff to say on these albums?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, I'm really excited for new music.
Okay. And so where do you draw the inspiration from? Like, what's your own individual? Before I get into talking about the band as a whole, where does your creative inspiration come from? Like when you sit down, what kind of a creative person are you? Like, there's 2 schools of thought. I've had guys who come on here and they're getting like sparks of creativity throughout the day. Maybe they're humming stuff in their phone or they're jotting stuff down. Or do you treat it like a job? Like, I'm going to sit down, like punching a clock. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write. I'm going to create some music for the next couple of hours.
No, I mean, for the most part, I'm more something comes into my head. I mean, I got guitars around and practically I got
everywhere.
One here, I got 2 in the bedroom, 3 in the front room. I got another one, and I got 2 in the cases right here. I got one Zach gave me and my original old Charvel. So I mean, if I just hear something in my head, I just grab a guitar, and I'll just video myself without the amp or anything, just video myself like a little 20-30 second idea of a riff or something. And then later on, I go revisit and kind of go, this is garbage. This is garbage. No, this has got potential. This could be cool, and kind of rewrite. And, the way I look at things is, and, a lot of guys that write think this way. A lot of them don't. But if I have one, I call it the money riff. But if you have one killer riff, it's easy to create a song around it. You have one riff, which is your main riff, and that's usually your hook. Usually it's your chorus, and the rest of the song just kind of, for me, just writes itself around that. So the process is pretty simple. I mean, people are like, well, how long did it take you to write that? Like 5 minutes. They're like, wow. No, I'm not bragging, and it's not that. It's just once you have the the main idea of the song. The rest comes very quickly and very naturally, you know.
Yeah, I think people would probably be. Yeah, I think people would probably want to know that because they probably do think that a lot of time goes into these songs. But for artists, though, or for people that might not know, sometimes creativity can come very quickly like that.
I mean, when I say, I mean, that's the meat and potatoes of it. You know, that's
Right.
not stops and starts, intros and outros. Getting with the other guys and somebody comes up with an idea. Okay, let's do a little something in the middle here. You know, I mean, the arrangement. I like to be the arranger guy as the vocalist of the band. The
Right.
arrangement can really make or break the song and a lot of the songs. You know, but in general, when I get together with the other three guys, excuse me, if I have the whole, the meat and potatoes of the whole fucking thing, and we just gotta add a little spice and whatnot,
Right. Right.
it comes together pretty quick. Yeah, all the guys are great musicians, so
Definitely. Definitely.
it's
Yeah.
really easy, and they all think quick, and they're quick to grab a hold of riffs and stuff, or come up with something to add to what I already have. And a lot of times, like say, Matt will come up with a riff, or Pat, he's back in the band now, but Pat will come up with a riff, even with Down, and we just write a song around that because he's got something like one riff that's just great. And we're like, okay, well, let's write a song around that riff,
Yeah.
So it's great, it's great. Like my philosophy with music in general, because I play with so many different people, like the Sun Don't Shine stuff with Kenny and Johnny and Todd.
Yeah.
And, like if I'm with Josta or it's with Down, with Phil and Pepper and Pat and Jimmy, it's like leave your ego at the door and surround yourself with talented people, and you usually get a great outcome.
Amen to that. Yeah. And so talking to musicians on here, as many of them that I have gotten the chance to talk to, not everybody, but a common backstory that I do hear a lot is artists coming from these homes where there was a lot of records being played, or maybe the parents were into music, or maybe musicians themselves. Was this the case for you? Any of this?
To a degree, and my dad was a very big music fan, never played an instrument. My mom played the piano as a hobby.
Okay.
And, wasn't necessarily good, but, she had fun doing it, and that's all that counts. But they were very supportive. For me, it was just, I've only loved two things growing up, and that was football, American football, of course, but
Right.
football
Right. Let's
and
clear
music.
that up. Yeah.
Music. And I mean, I remember loving music as a kid. I barely remember the late 60s, but I kind of do, and early 70s. And I always loved music. My parents always had the radio on in the car. It was none of
Okay.
this like turn the music off and we're gonna have a family discussion. It was like, no, we're
Right.
going to the grocery. Mom, put on this thing. Okay, great. And me and my
Right.
sister are riding and whatnot, but there was always fucking music like that. I mean, my dad would listen to records a lot, if he had it on a Sunday or something, and there's just nothing going on. It's not football season, because he's the one that got me into football. He was a football fanatic, and which led to obviously me getting into lifting weights and shit like that when I was young in order to play football.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of times he just spend the day. My mom would go off to the grocery or shopping there or sad or go visit somebody, and I'd sit around with him and listen to records and stuff. So he was a huge music fan, and really had probably a lot to do with their support. Really had a lot, especially my dad, because he helped out a lot financially when I was a kid with getting me my first acoustic guitar, which turned into getting me my first electric guitar and amp and stuff like that. We used to rehearse at my parents' house. We soundproofed the garage the best we could. We don't have basements down here,
Right.
because they would flood. But a basement is probably way better to jam in than a garage. But we soundproofed it the best we could. And they were really cool about
parents, though. That's amazing, because we saw oftentimes when you get into creative arts, oftentimes parents might think that that's a bit of a speculative career and might try to maybe ward you against doing something like that. Obviously, everybody doesn't make it in the creative field.
No, in fact, few do. I feel very blessed and lucky. But I mean, my parents' thing was really just like, look, if you're not going to go to college, because I was actually registered at University of New Orleans twice, and when it came up, I said I really want to play music, and my mom's like, well, that's fine. You're going to go to college, and you can play music, but you have to get a job. I said, well, how the hell am I going to play do all three. I only have time for two.
Right.
I said, fuck it, I'll get a job, a 40-hour a week, regular shitty job that I hated,
Yep. Yep.
make the best of it and work. And so then when it came to the next coming semester, my mom registered me again at University in New Orleans, and I said, I'm not doing it. I said, I can always go back to school. I said,
Right.
but if I don't pursue this right now, it's going to get away from me. And I've watched it with so many guys. That's why it's so hard for people for full, like, I mean, when I made that decision, I was 18 years old. I had a job, no girlfriend. I was already in love with new wave of British heavy metal music and 70s classic rock. And I'm like, this is what I'm going to fucking do. There's no turning back. There's no throwing in the towel. No is not an option. I'm going to find a way to make this happen.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not just about determination. It's about sacrifice. And people, you can want something but you have to go get it. People don't knock at your door and hand you stuff. You have to work your fucking ass off to get it. So, I mean, thankfully I had a good work ethic regarding, what I wanted to do musically with, practicing every day, playing guitar, rehearsing with the band Monday through Friday. And just doing it. Like I saw a quote earlier today, which is pretty fits a lot of things in life, really. But the quote was, "You can." It said, "Don't die with dreams. Die with memories."
Yeah.
It's like anybody can be a dreamer. It doesn't mean you're getting anywhere. You have to be a go-getter and make it happen. And that way you could look back on a lot of great memories in your life and things that you've done and accomplished. And that's what it's all about to me is, when I'm not here anymore, I want to just be like, well, hey, I did my best to make, the best music I could for y'all. And thanks,
Yeah.
I'm
And
not planning on going anywhere soon, but,
Yeah. And while there is something to be said for the college education, though, I have had people on here say, though, that oftentimes if you want to make it in the arts, you can't really give yourself that safety net oftentimes.
No, I mean, there's no, I mean, I made it on myself.
Yeah.
Where there was no backup plan. It
Right.
was like either work this fucking shitty job and work my way up the best I can, unloading trucks. I mean, I became a receiving clerk for this department store, like where I didn't really have to, I still had to physically unload some of the trucks, but for the most part, I was counting in the drivers and doing, this is way before computer times. And this is fucking 1985 or something.
Right.
But, and I'm like, okay, so what's the best thing that's going to happen? I'm going to be the manager of this fucking shithole, know? And I'm like, but you know what? I'm not going to let that happen. I'm determined to make something. And I worked every shitty job you can imagine. I mean, even with CROWBAR for years and years and years. I mean, at least 10, 11 years with CROWBAR of touring. As soon as I get home from tour, I take like a week off. We really wouldn't make any money. I'd go out for 2 months straight and come home with fucking $122.11 or some crap.
Yeah.
So it's like I'd have to go get some kind of job, temporary job. Or I started working for sound companies, setting up the PA and lights, miking the stages and all of that. And those guys were all cool because so many of them played music. They were flexible with you. Okay, well, you're going to be gone here. Okay, well, this guy is actually going to be home during this period, so that works out great. And then he goes on tour. His band's got some, shit to do, so we'll find some work for you. And that worked out for a while. I mean, I didn't, it took me 20 years from my first gig at 16 years old until I was 36 years old to actually make a living in music. And I still work side jobs just out of boredom occasionally and for extra money. I've never been one of those guys, that's lazy or doesn't want to. I mean, it's just, it's integrity. It just makes you a better person, I mean, okay, I've got some money, but, I mean, if you're relatively young, but I mean, even when I got married to my daughter's mother, who, of course, obviously we're not together, but I did see him last night, speaking of college educations, because my daughter graduated from LSU last night. So
congratulations. That's huge. Yeah.
It is, I mean,
it is.
One thing I'm glad for her is, she wants to be an occupational therapist and work. She does work at a physical therapy place right now. And so she got if I get it right, I think she got a bachelor's in science and human resources, but that was the necessary steps to get to the remainder of the education, which was
Yeah,
just a community college or something. And then she'll get the occupational therapist thing. But it's a great line of work to get into. You know
no
that for back
question.
issues. And I mean,
Yeah, no
same with
question.
me. It's like I didn't technically go to a physical therapist, but I was my own. I Googled everything to do and not to do
Yeah,
with my
yeah,
injuries. And because I
yeah.
also have a torn right rotator cuff, torn ligaments, and a torn right biceps as well. So I'm limited to what I can do lifting wise, but I just changed around my routine and I actually love it. It's just to be able to do anything is better in your body and your mind and it's just a positive thing. So I mean, doing that for me, it's big to be able to do that. Going from not being able to fucking, to even walk, to being able to go in the gym and lift pretty decent weights for an old man,
Yeah, yeah,
is a big accomplishment. So I
yeah.
want to. I feel lucky and blessed every day I pull up at the gym that I'm physically and mentally as well able to do that. Some people may be in already in fairly good health and they're not overweight or whatnot, but they just can't. Maybe they're just going through a lot in life and they can't get their mind focused on doing it. And I completely understand that. I've been there.
That's half the battle.
Understand
Just
that,
getting there. Yeah, that's half the battle. Just arriving at the gym.
No, everybody tells you that, and it is the truth because,
Yeah,
and I've got a friend that used to compete, back when he was younger in bodybuilding competitions and all. And he goes, Kirk, I'll tell you one thing. I've woken up and not really wanted to go to the gym, but
yeah,
never ever did I leave the gym and say, you know what? I really wish I didn't fucking come here today.
yeah. Once
I
you're
think it
there,
just
yeah.
doesn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. Once you're there, you're there. And that's interesting because as I mentioned earlier, there is a lot of physicality to what you do. It's not just throwing a guitar and jumping up there. There's headbanging, there's moving around, there's putting on a performance, you're playing brutally heavy music. What is your relationship like with touring? You guys are obviously still out there a lot, but has it gotten older or has it gotten harder as you get older to pull yourself away from your creature comforts and go out there?
Not really. I mean, I got the perfect situation because I mean, with Down, Robin is not involved,
Right, right.
but Phil's wife Kate is extremely involved and basically tour manages and kind of co-manages and everything with Down. So she's really involved, and I mean she's a sweetheart, so it's great. But I mean with Crowbar, Robin and I work together on the business. So she's a
Hmm.
tour manager and merchandise person in the US, and she's kind of like the co-tour manager over in Europe, and she's the merch person anywhere in the world. So to me, by the time a tour starts, I'm like ready 5 days before we leave. I'm like, please bring me to the airport now. I get
Yeah,
anxious
you're ready
already.
to go.
I mean,
Yeah,
like, if you don't love it, don't do it.
yeah,
So, do I still feel like, the little kid or something that enjoys doing it? Absolutely. Otherwise, it's not worth doing it. I mean, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back by any means or give myself credit, but I could have very easily canceled that tour that I had to sit down, but
oh yeah,
it was so close to the tour starting. It was literally 2, 3 days before. And I'm like, it's too late. Shows are selling out. This tour is going to be great. Crowbar, hey, God, this is
I
amazing.
know.
Fans
Yeah,
are freaking out. I'm like, you can't just. So I went to my chiropractor like 2 days before. And she goes, get up and walk across the room for me because I showed up with a cane. And then it got worse when I actually, like the next day or two before I left. And she goes, I walked across the room and we did x-rays and the vertebrae were fine. She goes, I can't see anything. She goes, could just be sciatica. She goes, but I really think you have uh bulging disc or herniated disc that's pressing your sciatic nerve. And then 3 4 days into the tour, I went to an acupuncturist in Atlanta and he said the same thing. He said, I really think you got a herniated disc giving you sciatica because the pain I had mimicked sciatica. And I found out later after the MRI that I had the cyst on my lower back. But, it got to where I was just like, it's too late. The merchandise is sitting in the front room of the house. The bandwagon bus is en route from
yeah,
Indiana. I'm like, you just got to do it, dude. You're
yeah.
here.
Yeah, we're
So,
past the point of no return.
yeah, but you know what? It made me have, when you don't have a choice, you find a way to just do things. So I'm not trying to
Yeah,
act like I'm stronger than somebody else mentally or physically or some tough guy. It's just I did what I had to fucking do. I didn't do a
yeah,
whole lot else. I can tell you that.
yeah.
Right
Right.
around, it halfway through the tour was like a month. Halfway through, or really the last, I'd say, 7, 8, 9 days of the tour, I was able. I remember Tommy Buckley and my drummer and I, we were in St. Louis, and I woke up that day and I'm like, I can actually walk pretty good without holding on to anything.
Yeah,
We got into the venue and I had the walker with me and I pushed it across the room and I walked over by Robin at merch and I walked over to Hey God's manager and he's like, "Oh, you're mobile today?" I said, "Well, we'll see, man. But Tommy and I called an Uber to go to Guitar Center, and Robin's like, "Are you taking the walker?" I said, "I ain't doing it," and I
yeah.
did. I just act like a normal person. I walked around the store, kind of slowly, in a bit of pain, but I'm like, I'm gonna just be normal.
Maybe that
So
was better. Yeah, maybe
it
that was
was.
better.
And
Yeah,
mentally,
yeah,
it got me. The next morning, like because we have the bandwagon. I don't want to. It's too long to explain it. It's very boring. But anyway, we go to Walmart almost every morning
yeah,
on the way to the venue. So I got up and Robin said, "Are you okay? You need your walker?" I said, "I'm not." I said, "I'll hold on to the basket if I got to." So I was able to walk in and shop for like 45 minutes. Bought a couple of pairs of fucking cargo shorts and
yep,
just walked around like a normal person. And I had to have one of those fucking chairs in the shower, like the handicap chairs or whatever, to take a shower. And like that day, I said, you know what? After sound check, I'm taking a shower and I'm not using that fucking chair. So I
yeah,
took it out of the shower and
yep,
I had to hold on to things, but I did it. And I'm like, I'm going to feel like a normal person.
yeah,
So
yep.
mentally, that was me getting over the hump. And I'm like, you will be okay. You just got to give it some time. And it was. I mean, a week or so after we got home from tour, it's one of those things where if this would have happened 6 weeks earlier, I probably could have gotten the MRI. I probably could have started the therapy type stuff, and whatnot, and made it where I could have done the tour standing up. But I'm still not. I mean, look, I'm not the most mobile person in the world. I
Right.
got a lot of other aches and pains and bumps and bruises in my lower body anyway. But I've been dealing with them so long it doesn't bother me. I mean, at my age, I don't feel the need to really physically. Number one, I can't really jump around. And number two, I can't really, I'm tied down to the microphone with Crowbar.
You're right,
So,
right,
I
right.
mean, I've never really moved that much, but anyway, it's all great. So I mean, right where I'm at right now, if it doesn't get any worse than this and it actually gets a little bit better, I'm super happy with that.
And now your voice, obviously everybody knows the amazing riffs that Crowbar is known for, but you also use your voice as an instrument. As you said, what I mean? Like you were tied to the microphone. Are you a guy over the years that has been one of these vocal care guys? Obviously, you said that's your normal voice, your speaking voice, are you a warm-up guy? Or are you a guy that ascribes to any type of routine? I don't talk on show days. I sip tea. I do this, honey, anything like that? Or are you just a guy that I get up on the stage and I belt it out?
Just get up on stage and belt it out.
Old school. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's like, I drink, which is not good to drink cold beverages. Now, studios is a whole nother story.
Yeah.
It's room temp water, and that's it.
Okay.
But live, I got to get into the vibe of the show. I mean, I go out and watch the opening bands from the side of the stage for a few songs and have a few beers or whatever and kind of just get like, all right, like I'm one of the fans. I'm
Right.
ready for the fucking show. So,
Right.
I've always been that way. I can't just, sit back and lay in the bunk all day. I mean, I do try every afternoon, like after sound check. I try to lay down for an hour or so, not to sleep or anything, but I'll read or just fuck around on the phone or something.
Yeah.
And I do try to rest my voice when we're doing like on that tour that I got. We had 25 shows in a row, and we added 3 matinees due to sellouts. So I did 28 shows in 25 days.
Brutal. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
A
did.
lot.
We did double shows in Portland, Maine, Chicago, and Detroit.
Yeah,
And
and I
you
get
know
what you're
what?
saying, man. I like to get home from work too, and I refer to it as just coming home and decompressing for a little bit. I don't necessarily take a nap or go to sleep, but I just like to come home and just kind of get horizontal, flip through
Yep,
my
yep.
phone a little bit, just kind of, what I mean, have a little bit of time just to say, okay, I'm home from work. Let me unplug for a little bit, and you need that.
Yeah, I mean that's what I do after sound check. See, I had bought like a weight bench and some dumbbells and shit. I had a weight bench that inclines and declines and some dumbbells, and I'll, like 6, 8 weeks before the tour, planning on Matt and I, because he goes to the gym regularly as well.
Oh,
Planning on,
I've had him on a couple times. I know
yeah, yeah,
I mean, we talked combat and martial arts. He's into all that
yeah.
good
See,
stuff.
that's his thing, But
Yeah,
we at least, I mean, we do a little 20-minute workouts. It'd be like, what, let's do a chest workout, chest and
yeah,
tries. I mean, you can only do so many exercises with dumbbells and a fucking bench, but you know
right.
what? We normally do that after sound check and then take a shower because the bandwagon has a nice shower and everything on it. And then, you get ready to jam, man. But it keeps you in line as far as now when I go to Europe, all I can really do is walk and stretching really.
Yeah,
I mean, we can't tote around like a bench and weights and shit, but I mean, we can in the U.S. So, I mean, on the part 2 of I Got, which will be coming up in March and April, it's still not announced. The New Orleans show at Tipitina's is announced,
yeah,
but nothing else is announced. But it's actually, we're hitting a lot of territories, including out west and northwest. I mean, from San Diego pretty much up to Seattle, over Spokane, whatever the fuck it is, and kind of back around. But we do all kind of shit, on this one. So this is part 2, and I mean, we'll probably do a part 3 and maybe even something overseas. I mean, there's no reason not to do it. It
yeah,
works out so easy. We get
yeah,
along so good with the dudes. We're all in roughly the same age group,
yeah.
So that's the thing too, is like, I can't really, I can tour with whoever. I mean, but I can't really hang out much with uh the younger guys. I can't party and stay up all night and all that shit. And I don't want
Right,
to, number one, and I can't
right,
even if I
right.
did
I don't
try.
want to either. Yeah, I'm in
No,
bed at
not at
10
all.
o'clock at night.
I mean, no, no, no. I mean, I'm the first one in my bunk every night, pretty much.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's a big thing that I've noticed different. Not only just feeling so much better when I wake up and getting a lot better sleep, is not staying up after the show, like listening to music and just drinking
yeah.
beer for the sake of it. It's like,
Right.
why do I need that? I don't need
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So it's I'm the first one in the bunk, and I love it. And I'm usually the first one up.
yeah,
I'm up
yeah.
taking my vitamins, eat a little something, get cleaned up or something, and ready to rock the sound check. So,
And now you
okay, my
just
love you.
and now you just in October just put out a solo album, Ethereal Waves. How does the solo stuff, I mean, like what's the motivation behind the solo stuff? Is it scratching a different itch that you don't get to scratch with the Crowbar stuff?
I mean, for the most part, yes. It doesn't even really. I mean, the Ethereal Waves, the second solo album, maybe has a touch more of what would be considered quote heavier music, or I'll just
Yeah.
call it. It's not. There's not as much clean guitar as the first record, as
Right,
Dream
right.
Ocean, but it came out great. It's a combination of scratching another itch, like you said. It's
Yep.
a combination of me, showing other influences that I have and other styles of music that I'll enjoy writing and playing, along with it keeps me creative, like
Yeah.
when we get the next Crowbar record done, and I'm like, okay, we got this record done, we're gonna tour for it. But in between tours, if hopefully Down's doing stuff, but if we're not really busy, what I'm gonna do, start solo record number 3. I mean, I can do these things forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a studio project. And that's all. It's not meant to be played live. It's meant to be a studio project, but it's something I really love creating and doing. And I really think the 2 solo albums that came out great. I mean, I love them.
They
I love
are.
listening to
Yeah,
them.
they're
I love
absolutely. Yeah.
saying,
Yeah, they're absolutely awesome. But is there a push and pull or a struggle at all? Or is it clearly is there a clear line between, like, if you're tinkering around, you're coming up with riffs, you're coming up with material, how do you decide what makes a solo album and what makes a Crowbar album? Is there ever like is there ever kind of like a one bleeding into the other and you don't know, like or do you clearly say, I'm creating for the solo album?
Yes, it's the
Yes.
same
Okay.
thing with like if we're writing for down, which we're not writing because it's all written in well, drums, bass, and rhythm guitars for the most part are done.
Oh, that'll excite
So
people. Good. Good.
absolutely, but
Yeah.
what I do when I'm writing is I'm like, okay, you're writing for down, are you writing for Sun Don't Shine, but Kenny Hickey's the main, he's 90% the writer. I'm like, dude, you're the singer, you're the one that hears the melodies. I'm cool to just add in a riff here and there and throw some solos on and just jam
Yeah.
with the guys and hang out and have a blast. He's
Yep.
really the main writer in that band. But with Down, we all write, so I call it like Crowbar world, Down world, solo album world,
Yep.
whatever. Where no, I don't really. There's been a few riffs here and there where I'm like, well, this could actually be twisted up. Let Pepper and Phil get a hold of it, and they could twist it up, and this could be a Killer Down riff. Or if they don't like it, it'll be Crowbar,
Yeah.
But for the most part, if I'm focused on writing for one band, there's different tunings and all, in all of the bands. Number
Sure.
one, so I pick up a guitar tuned to that, and and I'll kind of play in that style of just fucking around, banging around on the guitar, and it ends up being a situation where I don't really have like I don't have one leftover riff. Like, or especially like songs. I think Matt said there was some kind of song we recorded for Zero and Below that after listening to it, we're like, it's a great song, but it doesn't really sound like Crowbar. It sounds more old school metal, which is great and I love it, but that's
Sure.
not Crowbar, So
Right. Right.
I think we just nixed it, and I'm like, but no, I don't really have like a bunch of riffs laying around that never got used or anything. It's like if I come up with something for Down and they don't like it, okay, you know, very, very rarely, if ever, does it turn into Crowbar or anything. And the solo album thing, I normally just come up with one simple little riff, and we just do the work in the studio. We have fun just creating. With like the songs write themselves. Same
Right.
thing with the lyrics. Like Dwayne, the producer and engineer, Dwayne Simino, he's like, "You got lyrics?" I'm like, "I got a few words."
Yeah.
And literally, he's like, "What do you got?" And I show him, and I have like one line and a few words underneath it, like to begin, or
Yeah.
maybe at the end, something that rhymes. And I'm like, he's like, now he knows the way I roll with it, but in the beginning, it's like, well, are we going to be able to get anything done today? I said, yeah, we're going to write a whole song, and I'll have all the lyrics done. He's like, okay. And
Yeah.
I write on the spot. I bring a notebook. I mean, I don't have the little iPad set up, even though they have the holder in the vocal booth. Robin owns an iPad. I don't. I don't even
Yeah.
need one.
Yeah.
I still go on with a pen and a
Old
fucking
school.
notebook and scratch
Yeah.
out words.
Sure.
And the arrows going over here, and I'm writing
Yep.
words sideways to fit them in. What goes here?
Yep.
And I like the spontaneity of it. It makes it uh, just more real. I mean, you don't want. I don't like people that strive. I won't say strive for perfection, but I don't like bands or guitar players even that everything's got to be great. It's like it's an emotion, and it's an expression. So the feel, like, to me, people are like, oh, your Crowbar's so heavy, but heavy is an emotion. It's not what you're tuned to. It's not
Yes.
volume or overdrive or anything.
Yeah.
It's an emotion.
Yeah.
And the emotion is you can play the heaviest shit in the world, and if you're singing about something stupid like dancing or something that would not
Yeah.
it's all happier. It's like, well, it's not heavy. It's sonically got some balls to it, but it's
Right.
not a heavy song. It doesn't give you chills. It doesn't hit you. Like, wow, that's deep or anything.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
just the way I've always thought. And that's no disrespect to anything else. That's just the way I've always thought.
You're right about the heaviness thing. I think for years when I was younger, and you're always searching and pushing the envelope, and when I was a teenager, you're trying to find the next heaviest thing. I think you used to equate heaviness with a brutality, blast beats, it's fast, it sounds evil or whatever. But then consistently, though, as I've gotten older, I've realized that, yeah, as you said, man, heavy is more emotion, and I have seen countless podcasts and or talk show type things on YouTube where I've seen you guys consistently come out, and so one podcast was doing a bracket thing where they kept bringing bands over and trying to find out who the heaviest band was. I must have seen about 3 or 4 of these, and it was always you guys that won. And that's when I really started to think like, yeah, heaviness it takes on many forms.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's like you can listen to an Alice in Chains song even and think, wow, they're singing about some dark shit. That's heavy, you know?
Oh, dude, the whole Dirt record. I mean, even the Jar of Flies, it's like, it's an acoustic record.
Yeah.
But I got goosebumps thinking about it. It's just brilliant music, and it's so dark and heavy with the emotion and the lyrics and, all the struggles. A lot of it, well, at least Lane, obviously, but Jerry and Sal were going through with drugs and alcohol and whatnot. All of these things come out in the music in the form of it's beautiful melodies, dark, beautiful melodies and passages and dark fucking lyrics that, but I think Alice in Chains are like an extremely heavy band because of the lyrical content and the mood that the music exudes, or whatever, if that's a correct term. The mood that the music that you feel, the mood that you feel when you listen to the Alice in Chains' music is especially like the Dirt album really hit me. I remember Phil Anselmo had a demo tape of it, and this is when did Dirt come out?
Oh Jesus, maybe 92?
Early, about that, because he was living still in Arlington, because he had come to town, to see his parents and sister and whatnot, and he came by my apartment. We were hanging out and drinking some beer, whatever, smoking a little weed and just jamming on tunes and all. He goes, "Dude, I got something for you," and he pulls out this cassette tape, and it was Alice in Chains' Dirt album, and he goes, "You can tell people you heard it." And he goes, "When you hear this, you're going to fucking flip." And he goes, "We listened to the whole thing." And, he might go, "Check out this part, check out here and there." But for the most part, we just shut up and listen to the whole fucking record. And at the end, I press stop and I'm like, dude, that was pretty fucking, that was quite the journey. And he goes, man, and he called it. And he's right. Because they would, they got a lot of buzz and they were getting big on, what's the first one? Facelift?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. They were getting a lot of, MTV play and radio play and that. But he goes, "Dude, these songs are so great. This is like really, really big potential." And it was, I mean, that's an amazing album. Somehow I own it. And because I just bought a new fucking CD player that has a radio, AM, FM radio, cassette player, and CD.
Wow.
Like a modern day boom box.
Yeah, it's a good thing you grabbed it. I mean, there's probably people that are going to watch this and instantly run and start Googling what boombox even is, or cassette or CD players. And that stuff is becoming so antiquated, and it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it totally does. I mean, I don't really have songs on my phone.
Yeah, and you can't get a stereo in a car anymore. That's becoming obsolete.
No, I mean, our car is, unfortunately, it's a 2019 Nissan Sentra. It's nothing fancy.
Yeah,
and we have an old Honda Accord that's even older that has a CD player in it, but it broke. But when we first went, like 3 years ago. So what was that, like 2022? We bought the 2019, which was still pretty, newish.
Yeah.
So I'm looking and I'm like, oh, fuck, it doesn't have a CD player. And we're thinking about trading it in for something like it. I mean, we're going on 2026. I mean, we're looking at trading in for a 22 or 23 just to be a little, but I'm like, nothing's going to ever come with a fucking CD player.
Not anymore.
And I don't want to rip it all apart and put a CD player in, because if I do try to upgrade, I got to trade this motherfucker in,
right?
And I don't want to fuck it all up, But yeah, it sucks to have a car to drive around without, because Robin's got her phone hooked up to the little computer crap and all that in there for talking and all. I don't. I mean, it's illegal to have your phone. I mean, when I left the chiropractor, I called you. I'm like, I don't see any guys fucking. I mean, I'm not texting or checking email. I'm fucking talking. It's no different than talking to if Robin's next to me and I'm driving.
Right.
I mean, I'm looking at the road. I'm just talking to you, But I hope I don't get arrested now. Some guy get a warrant out on me.
Is it
But
ever
you
up
know,
for
it sucks without a CD player, man.
It does. It does. It does. Is it ever up for debate when it comes time to make a Crowbar album? Like, obviously, there's been some huge shifts and some changes. I don't need to tell you in the way people are consuming music and people's attention spans. And, we're talking about it right now. People streaming, not dropping the needle and listening to albums all the way through the way we used to back in the other older generations. Is it always for Crowbar? Always an LP? You guys never flirted with the idea of an EP or anything like that? You know what I mean? Like, you guys always are going to just be consistent with the full length albums.
I mean, for the most part, yeah. I mean, there's never been. It's really funny because, thankfully, we're having some kind of crazy. I won't even call it resurgence. It's like we've never been this popular to some degree. Like with what's going on with monthly listeners on Spotify and shit just blowing up, and there's a whole young generation that, it's funny. The Sonic XS in its purest form record is 24 years old,
right?
And probably, I think it was done early. It came out in 2001, but most of the shit was written in like 2000. So these songs are 25 years old, and it's like. Now there's a whole generation of people that are freaking out on this record.
Right.
And I'm like, was it worth the wait? Absolutely. Because I'm never going to go, well, we need to change. And no, Crowbar's Crowbar. And it's always, are we going to change things a little bit? Yeah. So it doesn't get boring. And so we can be creative and bring different elements. 99.9% of the Oddfellows Rest record was Jimmy Bauer and I, and that was it.
Yeah.
Other dudes wouldn't even come to practice and shit. We wrote the whole fucking record. And we brought in a lot of new elements, and I was really nervous to release it. And like the song Planets Collide came out so good, I'm like, this might be crazy, but let's just open the fucking record with it.
Yeah.
And either people are gonna go, oh God, they sold out, this is terrible. Or are they gonna fucking bite, they're gonna take the bait and say, wow, they really changed from High Rate Extinction or something as an opener. This is way deeper, way more mature, and way more melodic, and it's an easy, simple fucking 2-riff song, but it's a great, great song. But of course, we always going to bring in a few different elements into what we do, but Crowbar's always going to be Crowbar for the most part. Yes, I'd like to stick to the album thing, but I'm not against, now that we have 12 records out, we want to do a 13th. I'm not against releasing songs one at a time. Not an EP, but recording one song at a time.
Yeah.
Releasing it, a song that we think is really, really strong, that people will really enjoy, and we can put it in a set list, and eventually make it some kind of package it up thing, where it's a full length or an EP or something. Because times have changed, and I think hip hop people do that, and country guys do that, guys and girls. And it makes a lot of sense now because people are way more likely to bite on a fucking 99 cent or whatever they cost, might be $3 now, but whatever, one fucking song as opposed to a full length record. It might be a better route to go. I don't know. It works for other genres of music, so I really don't know why it wouldn't work for what we play. But for the most part, for Crowbar, we're like, when I listen to it, I'm still like, okay, so we're gonna inside one with this.
Yeah.
And this will be, because now, vinyl outsells CDs. So
that's made a resurgence.
You have to look at it as, like, when we go on tour, we don't want CDs, we want vinyl. People come up that they might be there for another band we're on tour with, but they'll buy our vinyl because they're a vinyl collector,
Collectors, right?
And especially if you get the colored vinyl and all the little spiral stuff and all that shit that really looks cool for your collection, it's a cool thing. It reminds me of being younger. And
what about feedback and criticism when you put new music out? Because we're talking about the internet. Are you a guy that'll go on, like, if a new Crowbar album comes out or your solo album? Are you somebody that'll go on and look and see what people are saying, or do you just put the stuff out and not give a fuck?
A little bit of both. Like they tell you not to read your own press, and
right.
But because when it's real positive, well, then you think everything's great and everybody loves it. It's not like that. People have different tastes, and it does let me down a bit or sadden me a bit when somebody who's been a Crowbar fan forever is now all of a sudden, they don't like the new music. It's different. It's not as heavy. Yeah, it's just as heavy. It's Crowbar.
Yeah.
It's just as fucking heavy. It might not sound like a $5,000 budget anymore because it's not. So it might sonically sound clearer and better to the ear.
Right.
And but I mean, that kind of pisses me off. And now there's a lot of people that are kind of haters that that we have a lot of people on TikTok and Instagram that love the band. And I'm like some guy put that yesterday or day before yesterday or something in a post I made. No, I think it was something yesterday Robin had put on Instagram. I don't even know if it's on. I don't have TikTok. I don't do TikTok. I do the TikTok live. In fact, I'm doing one tonight, but Crowbar does it because it's really important. I mean, nowadays TikTok and Instagram are like being on a major label that's putting a gazillion dollars behind you to promote the band.
It's a
You have to.
tool.
The problem is the labels, and I mean the labels are too fucking lazy to do it themselves.
Right.
So it's really up to us to do it, and that's just a fact.
Yeah.
I mean, you can sign one of these like 360 deals or some shit where I don't even know what it is, but in general, and if your band hits it really, really big, you make a lot of money, and if you don't, you're fucked.
Right.
So, I mean, to each his own. I would never do that, but no, people are like, keep Crowbar off of TikTok and Instagram. And I'm looking at it and I commented. I said, why? I said, I've been busting my ass for 35 fucking years and coming home for the most part, not making any money, doing it for the love of music.
Right.
I'm in a fucking van all around the world, and and whatever. And now we finally, after all of this hard work, are getting a bit of success, and you're gonna piss all over it because some 16-year-old kid in fucking Wisconsin or something loves Crowbar. I'm like, I don't give a shit if it's a 6-year-old or a 90-year-old, and and it's like, I'm just happy that people, in my opinion, are finally getting it. I mean, 90% of the people, more than that, I'd say fucking out of 20 people, 19 of them are very happy, like, man, you really deserve it. It's great to see Crowbar get well-deserved a bit of success and stuff for all the hard work you put in. But you always got the keyboard warrior hater guys. And, I wrote to that. I said, why? Why keep us off of TikTok and Instagram? Is Metallica on it? Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, we'll never be Metallica, but at the same time.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. It's an amazing promotional tool, and you made a great point. If you don't have label support, or the label wants to give you limited support, you kind of have to up your your social media presence nowadays. Regardless of whether you do it kicking and screaming or not, it's just part of the game nowadays. I saw my podcast numbers when I checked the analytics really spike up when my son got in my ear and said, you got to take some of these little snippets of these conversations that we're having and put them up as reels on Instagram. People will watch a 60-second video, and maybe it'll drive them to watch the whole episode. Maybe not, but you'll get views and you'll get some traction that way. You kind of have to do it nowadays. You just have
it's just the way it is. And when I say the labels are too lazy or whatever, what happened is, like, I remember when Pantera, I can only use them as an example because they're the first group of guys that I was friends with, who got a major label deal and really did something with it, and blew up huge. But back in the old days, because people sold records, record companies, you'd normally get a better recording budget or advancement, whatever you want to call it, which meant you could put some money in your pocket. But record companies used to give tour support, meaning, okay, we're going to put you on tour with this bigger band, and they're paying you shit, but we're going to pay for your tour bus and your crew and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And you need to recoup all this money before you see any of it, but we're going to get you out in front of people because we believe when they see the band out there kicking ass, they're going to win over the crowd. And Pantera did it. And it's like, with the way things are now, you can't do that as a record company because there's nobody buys records, So I
Yeah.
get it to an extent, but when I say they're lazy, but really what I'm saying is is it's all right there for you. Like, what am I doing? I'm doing an interview with you right now for your podcast. What
Right.
am I doing as soon as I'm done? As soon as Robin gets back, I got 17 cameos to do. I'm not doing
Right.
it all today, but I'll knock
Right.
out 5 or 6 of the
Right.
ones that are
Right.
getting closer.
Yeah.
And then what am I doing after that? I'm doing TikTok live for an hour to an hour and a half with
Yep.
Robin.
Yep.
So every day you get up, it's check emails. It's what can I do to promote my brand, my
Right.
band, me,
Yep.
and everything. And social media is the only way to do it. There's no
Yep.
MTV. There's no, and I mean, a lot of that stuff was labels doing it. The band members didn't really have to promote themselves. The labels were able to, because it was a different time and a different industry. They were able to promote the bands themselves. And if you had a great label and proper people behind you and a great publicist, you were able to get a lot of promotion out of it. You didn't,
Sure.
and social media didn't exist.
Right.
So
Right.
now instead of going tack up or go staple flyers on a fucking telephone pole or hand them out at the shows that you're coming, you put it all over all the social media. So
Right.
everyone can know that your band is going to be on tour and how to get tickets and all that. It's no fucking different. It's just changed. It's
Yeah.
different, but the same, uh, being as the guy in the band, the same thought process goes into it. Okay, we need to get flyers. Like, say we're doing a local show, we promote our own shows here. The venues will help to a degree, but really we're our own promoter.
Right.
And like with us and I, hey God, we're the promoters of the show. We have, I think, April 18th at Tipatina. So we normally do Southport Music Hall here, and we love it. But I think that either the date wasn't available or the day after wasn't available to do like an all ages, because if the tip show sells out, I think we're gonna add an all ages show on the Sunday for like a matinee or something.
For the kids. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
all ages, where
Yeah.
kids could come too, because
Yep.
here it's pretty much 18 and up, in any of the venues except for like arena shows and stuff like that, but
Right. Right.
but I mean, yeah, but in general, it's the same thing. You want to promote your band. It's just, I'm not selling T-shirts at the back of my fucking van, and I'm not doing this and I'm not doing that. I'm on social media. It's still work. I mean, it's still an honest
Oh
day's
yeah.
work.
Very much so.
You got to
Yeah.
wake
Very
up
much
and say,
so.
what can I do today that I won't be mad at myself when I fall asleep tonight to
Right.
promote Crowbar, like from
Right.
or down, and anything I do. So whatever. But that's the way you have to, at least in my opinion, that's the way to approach it.
Yep.
And the stronger your social media, uh, what the hell's the term? Presence is, the better the more popular you're gonna get, the more fans you're gonna gain, and that's
Yep.
the whole idea. It's not so
That's where
much.
we are. Yep.
I mean, touring is like, I mean, back in the 70s and shit, and even 80s when I was a kid, I mean, word of mouth was a powerful thing.
Huge.
People,
Yeah.
I remember I got older friends that saw like Van Halen open for people, on the first tour, like a guy that was a local guitar player that's, not a whole lot older than me, but probably, I guess, about 4 or 5 years older than me. Well, I think Van Halen was opening for somebody like Montrose or something, and Ronnie Montrose was like his favorite guitar player. Who
Yeah.
Ronnie's amazing, but he never heard of Van Halen. They came out, played for 30 minutes. He was there to see, and I don't want to put it on Montrose, but it was somebody like that. He was there to see them only, and he saw Van Halen. He said, "Dude, I left. I stopped at Warehouse Records on the way home and got the album. And
Converted them.
I
Yeah.
went home and listened to it all
Yeah.
night."
Converted them. Yeah.
Yeah, and that started getting around, and everybody said, "Well, who the fuck's this?" Like, I never really took formal lessons. We used to take lessons, my buddy Sean and I, from this guy who was more or less just some rock and roll dude, just living at his mom's house,
Yeah.
just trying
Yeah.
to pick up some extra change,
Yeah.
beer money or something. He
Yeah.
wasn't old. He was probably like, I mean, we were like 15, 16. He was probably like 19 or 20. But he's like, "You mean you assholes never heard of fucking Van Halen?" Well, like, we heard of him. I heard you really got me on the radio. He said, "Oh," he put on Eruption.
Yeah.
And me and Sean are like, I thought it was like two or three guys playing together. I'm like,
Yeah.
he's like, that's pretty. Have you heard anything like that ever? I'm like, no way, man. He goes, that's Eddie Van Halen. He goes, and he's like, man, this dude's really like the greatest new inspirational guitar player to come out since Hendrix. And in my opinion, he really was for rock and roll.
Yeah.
And, changing the way the guitar was looked at and approached and played. And, but, so I'm like, well, is that like two or three guys playing? He goes, no, that's Eddie playing. That's him by himself. And I said, it can't be. It's impossible to do that because I didn't know what tapping was.
Right.
And he didn't either. He didn't know. He just goes, no, that's just him playing by himself. It's one fucking track. And it was like, wow, but like, that's how, like, when I'm a big old Kiss, original Kiss freak.
Oh, yeah.
And I got everything. And Robin just got me the Kiss Alive 50th anniversary package. And Kiss Alive 1 is my favorite album of all time. That's what made me play guitar, was Ace, and all of that. But I'm reading stuff through there and I'm looking, it's like all the books I've read and documentaries I've watched and all, it was word of mouth. It was just getting the band in front of people and people talking. Like, love them or hate them, it was a spectacle, and people were like, well, I got to see this crap,
Yeah. I don't know how many times I've had people come on this podcast and that's their gateway, and they talk about opening up that fucking album and just having their minds blown by just what they saw and just being just all in, and just what I mean, I gotta get more of this, just the imagery, the colors, the explosions, the everything, it just captivated everybody.
I mean, it absolutely did. And like when Ace really died, just to show you, because he's such a technical musician. But Steve Vai said a lot of really, really nice things, not just about Ace, but about Kiss. He goes, when I was young and listening to Kiss, he goes, the songs are great. He goes, the chord progressions lend themselves to hooks. He goes, it had attitude, it had aggression, a lot of attitude, and he goes, it was rock and roll. Was it perfect? No. Were they the greatest musicians? No, it's not about that. It's about making people happy. And writing. I mean, there's a reason, that the band's been around for going on 53 years, and there's a reason idiots like me, I'm sure I got somewhere in the room. I got Kiss shit somewhere.
Well, I think you hit it on the head earlier, though. Back in the 70s, and you'll probably remember this, when bands made live albums, man, and they made mistakes, they would leave those on those live albums. Nowadays, man, with technology, man, maybe we have gotten used to everything being polished and perfect and Pro Tools, and let's do another take, and let's cut these things together and make the perfect fucking take. Everything is just, I don't know if that's necessarily as rock and roll as having a few hiccups and mistakes. Now, I'm a layman. I'm not a musician. If I were to see you guys live and someone hit a clanker up there, I wouldn't know,
Right.
I wouldn't have no idea.
Volume helps that as well. And a couple of drinks if you're in the audience. But
sure.
It's the truth. It's like, I mean, they might have patched up a few things, but it doesn't matter. It's just like, even with Crowbar, I mean, of course, everyone uses Pro Tools, but like, you can use it. You can literally build your song on Pro Tools, moving shit around, or you can rehearse it and get it down right. But once the drum tracks are down, like, I mean, we don't really, with Crowbar or down, we don't really like fly it, meaning, I nailed that first chorus, so let's fly it to the second and third parts. No, we keep going through it and let it go. And, something, I mean, if you're riffing away and you hit one bad fucking note, we'll go back and punch it in. And, while the engineer is doing his homework, it's like if somebody's got a great take and the bass player hit one note, he didn't attack the string correctly, or he fretted it a little weird. If it sticks out, it's like, okay, we'll maybe take, the same note from another part in the song and put it right there, just so it sounds better. But we're not like we play to a click track with Crowbar, but we don't use the grid, is what it's called, like, to our advantage. Like, a lot of bands put the grid on 100%, where everything is mechanically perfect, like a fucking machine. And that's why it has no emotion, and it doesn't
Yeah.
sway or move at all. And I mean, we don't do that. You know, we try to rehearse the best we can and get it as tight as possible. And then, you know, still the drums are not like a fucking machine. They're human, you know. So when we're
Right.
tracking guitars on top, you know, it moves a little bit, and then we go in a behind the beat or something. The tempo slows down as it should. And like Down doesn't even use a click track, so it's just raw, you know. But too many people use it to their advantage to really make it too perfect, you know.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I mean, that's why I probably tend to listen to a lot more older music. And most of the bands I like are older bands because they didn't have all that shit. You know, they
It's
were
got soul. It's got soul in there. You can still hear the soul of
yes, and
the musician.
that's the whole point is, you know, like we keep going back to it, but it's about emotion. And the fuck ups are emotion too. You know, if you go if you go in and do a guitar solo, you know, and you know, you stretch a little bit flat or a little bit sharp on something. Sometimes, you know, like what I like to use Pro Tools for is if I'm doing multiple takes on like a solo or a
Yep.
vocal thing. In the old days, when you press record, that meant the other one is going away forever.
Right.
You can't get it back.
Right.
Now you can keep them all and say, you know what? Even though usually the first one, the first one to the last one, the first one, I overbent that last note, but it's got way more swagger and attitude. You know,
Yeah.
it's more real and human, and it just works better. And you know, we keep the one that's maybe technically not played quite as well, executed as well as some of the other takes, but the feeling is better, and that's what it's all about to me. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I want to ask you, in terms of your own. Well, you brought up the guys from Kiss, but are there a couple other names you could throw out there that you feel like have had the most influence or impact on your own guitar playing? I hate to use the word influences because everybody asks the dreaded influence question, but have there been guys that have impacted the way you approach the instrument?
I mean, Ace surely did.
Ace,
I mean,
sure.
Eddie was out of my league, so I never. And I mean, I was like 13 when I heard the first Van Halen, and
Yeah.
just beginning to play guitar. So,
Yep.
I mean, I tried for a little while, and I was just like, you know, but really, I mean, Ace was my biggest influence that made me pick it up. But I mean, if I want to watch somebody like just blow me away, I mean, in heavy metal, I mean, Dime was, you know, about as untouchable as you can get.
No doubt.
I mean, in modern day, I mean, Zach Wild, technically, you really can't get any better.
Yeah.
You know, and he can play with fucking feel like a motherfucker, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But going back to older guys or whatever, older styles. I mean, this is not guitar playing from a songwriting and lyrical standpoint. I'm a huge Thin Lizzy fanatic, and Phil Lynott, who's been a big inspiration on my songwriting.
Yeah.
And my lyric, like that dude told stories like nobody else.
Yeah.
You know, it reminds me of like Don Henley. Like, you know, when you listen to a song like Hotel California, you literally on a dark desert highway.
Yeah.
You're literally picturing
You're there.
yourself, you know.
Yeah.
And you at night in the hot with the fucking, you know, who
Yeah.
in it? It's like he wrote stories. Phil Lynott was like that, man.
Yeah.
And-
Imagery.
Yes,
A lot of
and
imagery,
when you
yeah.
can, then it becomes like an audio book.
Yep.
You know, you can I visualize myself down some desert highway. But
Yeah.
he would, you know, Phil Lynott's songwriting was a huge influence. But guitar player wise, I won't say influence, but for me personally, to like be a little indulgent, you know, or to indulge a bit into like really amazing guitar playing. I'm a huge Michael Schenker and Gary Moore fan.
Yeah.
As far as just blowing me away with rock and roll guitar, you know.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought up Dime though, man, because Dime is one of those guys where I've had a bunch of people who I've turned on to Pantera who have said that same thing that you said about Eddie. It sounds like there's two guitar players in this band. Yeah, I mean, how could one guy be handling all these guitar chores right here? There seems like there's so much going on as far as leads and riffs and all this kind of stuff. And again, I'm not a musician, so I don't know all the technical terminology. But you know, it makes me think, you know, your affiliation with Pantera and with Dime. You know, do you have a fond Dime story or a Dime memory? Obviously, we just celebrated, not celebrated, but
right.
We just hit the date of his passing. Been 21 fucking years, which is mind-boggling to me.
It really is.
Yeah, I think it was December. What was it? The 4th, 8th? Yeah,
It's the day after Pearl Harbor, and it's the anniversary of John Lennon's death as well.
Crazy. Yeah, I know it just passed, man. But like, what's your fondest memory, man? Like when you have a Dime like moment, or you think about Dime, is there something that immediately comes to mind to you?
I mean, there's a million, but
I'm sure you've got a lot. Yeah.
back at around 2000 or something, Crowbar was on tour with it was Crowbar's I Got and Soylent Green.
Yeah.
And Tommy Buckley wasn't even our drummer yet. He's still the drummer for Soylent Green, you know.
I love him.
Yeah, they play out a bit, and you know, a few festivals here and there, or whatever. They just don't really want to tour, and I get it.
Right.
But me and Tommy want to tour together. Well, we're both big Pantera fans. Just because we're friends doesn't mean we're not fans.
Right.
It's an incredible band, you know, incredible music. So we're getting kind of drunk, you know. I mean, Dime and figure it out. So he's like, y'all want to go check out the studio on the back? And we're like, yeah. So me and Tommy go in there, and it's like, I mean, we lost track of time, but it was 2, 3 in the morning or some shit. I don't know. And we're in there, you know, and he's got a fucking fridge or ice chest or whatever, just full of Coors Lights and a bottle of fucking Crown. And we're just going at it. So he's got a little bass rig set up. We got a half stack set up for guitar. And Tommy got on Vinnie Paul's drums. And I think it was the brick looking like, you know, design on the drum kit. And it was all set up. And Dime's like, dude, you can get back there, but just hit real light, man. Don't fuck anything up. Vinny might get kind of pissed. Tommy's like, okay. So we're jamming Kiss songs and shit like this, you know, just anything old. And like me and Tom are passing back and forth the guitar and the bass. And like a few hours in, like we just lost time. We were having a blast, just cracking up, playing, you know, Cheap Trick, just old rock and roll shit.
Yeah.
And Dime would just go off here and there on shit. And I'm just sitting there going, this is just insane. This dude can play anything, you know?
Yeah.
And finally, as we getting drunker, just to be honest, you know, he's like, what the fuck you doing behind the drums? He goes, hit them motherfuckers. You know, and Tommy's like, is it okay? He goes, fuck, beat the fuck out of them damn things. So Tommy started hitting hard, and he's bashing on everything, and we're going for, you know, and just having a blast. And then, you know, I remember me and Tommy Lee, and we're like, oh God. And I don't ever throw up from alcohol, ever. And I mean, I can count on, I won't say one hand, but you know, 1.5 hands since I'm 16 years old, you know, how many times I've thrown up from alcohol. Well, I get in Dime's hot tub, but it's time the sun's out. And I'm like, this is not good, you know. So I'm sitting in there, we're in there like in our fucking underwear or something, dude. And I'm like, I just hang over the side and just hurl, you know. And I'm like, fuck it. And I go lay on Dime's couch. I think it was the last show. It was, because I remember going to something shitty like KFC or something and just pigging out. And I slept, it's like 9 hours, 10 hours or something back to New Orleans. Dude, I was so shot and exhausted and hungover. I slept pretty much the whole trip home, which was nice. By the time I woke up, I felt at least okay. Not like I was gonna die, but thinking back, like me and Tommy will bring it up sometimes, and he goes, dude, me and you and Dime had a killer fucking jam one night.
Jam session. Yeah.
And it was fun, and it was just 3 dudes who are fans of fucking you know, music that just jammed and hung out and drank, and it was a fucking blast, man. That's probably of all the crazy things with Dime, you know, it was just goofy. It was just dudes drinking, doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of it, you know, but I'm glad that, you know, it goes back to the, you know, die with memories, not dreams, you know. And it's like, I have great, wonderful memories of Dime.
Yeah.
And you know, and Pantera in general. I mean, I was lucky enough to see the band grow from, you know, cover songs and mixing. Like I was when Phil moved, they put out Power Metal, and I would go see Phil every 2 months or something for like a week. I'd save up all my money, and it was like $89 round trip to on Southwest Airlines from New Orleans to Dallas Fort Worth or whatever. And you know, he didn't even drive at the time. I'd have one of his friends pick me up, and I'd stay with him like at his apartment or wherever he was living for like a week or so, and then fly back. But you know, I was able to watch the band go from playing five nights a week, doing mostly covers and throwing in originals, to being, you know, in my opinion, the biggest and best, heavy metal band of the 90s,
No question.
I
No
mean, they
question.
were, because even Priest, Maiden,
No.
everybody was kind of
Yeah.
done right then, even
No doubt about
Motorhead
it.
and
Yeah.
stuff had a big drop off.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I've had this conversation with people on here, man, and Pantera was flying the flag for metal in the 90s, man, when hip hop and country was really fucking starting to nip at metal's heels, man. And Metallica kind of put out a couple of weird albums where we lost them for a while there, man. I mean, Pantera was there for us, man. Like, they were the band really championed metal for a while,
Yep.
I mean, we needed them, man. You know what I mean? Like, they were the heroes of the 90s for metal, man. And Dime, I think that's what resonates with people, man. That story that you told is perfect, because even though I never met Dime, even when you see him in interviews or you see his interactions with the fans, he just seems like he's just, at the end of the day, he's just a fan that got the chance to, do this, and is just a regular blue collar guy that you could approach.
And isn't that the way we all should be?
We should be.
I would do my best to emulate that. It's the same exact thing. I want to be
Yeah.
I'm just a fan at the end of the day.
Right.
I got posters and shit hanging around my house, and memorabilia from concerts and whatever. I mean, I play guitar as a fan, and that's why. I mean, I remember doing real quick. I remember we did a tour with Suicidal Tendencies, and it was the last show we were able to do, because we had to go to Europe like 3 days later or something. So we were in Denver, and I was thanking Mike Muir after the show, and he's like, "Kirk, gives me a hug. He's like, great tour, it was really cool. Hopefully we can do it again." And he goes, you have fun out there, don't you? I said, absolutely. He goes, dude, and he's older than me. He goes, man, at my age, if I'm not having fun, it ain't fucking worth doing. And I said, you know what, Mike? Yeah, absolutely right. And I believe the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't retire. I'd have to go get some kind of fucking learn some trade or some kind, go get an education or something. But I'm never going to quit doing this. As long as I'm able to do it, it's getting done, because this is what I love to do.
Yeah.
And, it's like, you can dream, but you got to work hard to turn it into a reality, and then you get your memories,
No doubt. Now, I would be remiss having you on here, and I don't want to hear about it in the comment section that I didn't ask. The timeline on, I'll start with Down. Should we expect anything new from Down in 2026?
Yes.
Okay.
Later than sooner, but I don't really see why it can't get out, like, say, by September, around September-ish, because see, Down's on Nuclear Blast along with COC, who have an amazing new record coming out April 2nd.
Yeah.
So we can't stomp we can't put Down, even if it's ready, we can't put it out too close to that, and the label's not going to want to do that anyway. We wouldn't do it anyway, but COC needs to come out and let everybody get blown away for a good bit, and when the water settles a little bit, we fucking give them a double whammy and throw out the Down, so.
And then 2022, you gave us 0 and below. What's the timeline on when we should expect some new Crowbar?
Well, really, we go to Ireland and UK in February, and then we do part 2 of the Crowbar I Got co-headliner in the States, and then when we get back from that, like mid to late April, I would really like to dive in, because we have some time off. I only have a few festivals with Down in Europe, and I'd like to really dive in, like, totally into Crowbar world, like I say, where I'm not thinking about anything until, okay, well, we leave for the Down tour in a week. Well, let's get together and run a set a few times, and let me quit writing Crowbar for right now. Let me get my brain in Down world, so I'm not mixing shit up. But but yeah, we're gonna just write, and I mean, there's no rush. I mean, we have 12 records out, and some of the older ones are just getting noticed, But I mean, I'm not the kind of person to, like, I don't. I gotta word this correctly. People are just touchy, but I mean, okay. The easiest way to put it is, I don't want to be a nostalgia band. I want to continue to write good music going forward. Our rule of the house is, in the words of Mr. Anselmo, yesterday don't mean shit. And like, if we're having a bad day or just something, I tell Robin, babe, she's like, I know. I'm like, yesterday don't mean shit. Let's live. We can't change it. So let's live for the now, and let's work hard to make the future as good as we can. And that's my attitude,
So do you feel like 2026 could be a year for new Crowbar, or more likely 2027?
I would say early 27 makes
27.
sense because
Okay.
I don't want to rush it because it's our 13th record. You know, I mean, by this time we're gonna have fucking 130 to 80, whatever, some songs, and you know, it's like I want to make it a killer record, you know, and I want to take our time and really. Now that we have Pat back in, as much as I love Shane, and he as amazing as he is, you know, Pat brings a different dimension to what we're doing, like writing wise. I'm so used to jamming with him and down,
Right.
you know, that it just we kind of want to go old school. Like in a perfect world, we won't even need a fucking click track. We can be well rehearsed enough to. Now I know if Dwayne here is just the producer, engineer, and producer, he'll be flipping his lid without a click track. But the thing is, you can do a click track and still swing.
You
You know,
sure?
it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be, and we don't have blast beats and shit like that. You know, so I mean, or super fast double kicks or any of that. But you know, in a perfect world, I'll say this: we'll at least be well rehearsed and know what we're doing entering the studio, as opposed to trying to write a lot of the material once we're in there.
Yeah.
Now with Zero and Below, we were pretty well rehearsed. I mean, there's one or two like it's always worth the gain. I kind of had that in mind. I wrote that in the studio one afternoon. I had something in mind. It's kind of deviates from what Crowbar normally sounds. It's a little bit more rock and rollish, and I got that because I was listening to the song "Rock and Roll" by Motorhead.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? It's just the blues thing where you have like a call and answer thing, you know, where
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
drums keep going, but the music stops, and then the
Yep.
vocal line comes in. So
Yep.
that's kind of what I said. We need a song like that. So I came up with it and kind of put it all together, and you know, I showed it to the other guys. And I told Tommy, I said, dude, on drums, fucking go for it because when you're doing your drum licks, um, there's no vocals, so you can't walk on the vocal line, we call it. You know,
Right.
you can't do too much drum shit because I'm not singing. It's time for you to shine. When we cut guitars and bass out of the
Right. Right.
you know,
Yeah.
just go. He goes, like, how much do you want me to go for it? I'm like, as much as you can, just fucking go for it.
Go all in.
So I
Yeah.
put his name in writing credits because he put so much into the drums and just played his ass off. And I'm like, you know, this is fucking great, man.
Well, I brought this up on the podcast before. You know, anytime that I'm getting my notes together, or I'm going to have an interview, I try to be up on it. Certainly, what the artist has recently done, and I'll look and see what people have said about their most recent work. And when I'm seeing albums being reviewed nowadays or talked about by journalists or on these different websites, one of the sticking points seems to be, and this probably again lends itself to the dwindling attention spans and how we're consuming music. It seems to be albums are critiqued now for how many songs and how many minutes they're coming in at. Do you guys, as a band, does Crowbar give that any thought? We got to have it be this many songs or come in at this many minutes?
Only if it's contractual, as in,
Okay.
you know, you need X number of minutes. And I don't even think we made the contract limit of 45 minutes or something. And I mean, I just said, look, from here on out, every album I grew up loving. I mean, when the CD format first came out, I'm sure, I don't know, it depends. Most bands I know would say, most bands that did this, and a lot of them did, and it's, hey, they did what they thought was right and what the record company wanted, but they try to fill up all 70 minutes of music.
Right.
And you go back and listen to some of your favorite albums from the 70s and 80s, they're like 33 minutes long.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I mean, how many fillers do you really have on a album with 15 songs? And
Right.
it's kind of, I mean, like the Down 2 record has technically 15 songs, but you also have uh Doob Interlude, which is Jimmy's little 4-track thing, Jimmy's little drum thing. That's 2 of the songs, and then you have Where I Am Going, which is I think it is Where I'm Going, and that was something Pepper had and Phil wrote lyrics to. They worked that up a couple of years prior,
Yeah.
so that was just them. They did that, and Phil had Landing on the Mountains of Megiddo, I think, kind of worked up already. So a lot of the songs were somebody already had them, and everything else was created amongst the band members. But we
Right.
got 15 songs, but it was really the creativity part of the whole 5 band members working together, which we had Rexx at the time, Rexx Brown,
Right.
was probably like 10 or 11 of the 15 songs, you know.
Yeah. And do you usually, when you're going to do a Crowbar album, you know, like let's say like 12 songs make the album, do you usually write more than that and then scale it down? Or do you write
Usually,
or do you write exactly what you need?
I write exactly what I need, because
Okay.
that's why I say there's not really any leftover. Apparently, there's some kind of 80s metal heavy though, you know, but some song we did that didn't make Zero and Below. But like from here on out, it's like, and I think all the industry people agree, you know, because the proof is in what's been put out there with a lot of artists, you know, in the 90s trying to fill up the CD format. And it's like,
Right.
even some of my favorite bands, I'm like, this song's just not, you know, it I'd rather, like we call it, just trim the fat and just eat the meat. You know,
Right.
it's like, I mean, like I remember Phil telling me with Reinventing a Steel, he goes, dude, he goes, we're not doing some 13, 14 fucking song record. He goes, we're doing 10 fucking killer songs.
Right. Right.
And you know, so we're conversing about this, and I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, in all actuality, all of the great albums when we were growing up, I mean, some of the Sabbath records had like 8 songs, or, you know, 9
Right.
songs and 2 little instrumental, you know, fucking segue pieces that had titles and were considered a song.
Right.
But it was really just, you know, but every song that they put out with the whole 4 band members was fucking amazing, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing, is I'd rather have, you know, 10 songs that, or if one of them happens to be really long, even if it's 9 songs, but I think we have to at least do 10. But I'd rather have 10, what I consider, I won't put anything on a record that I don't think is killer.
Right.
Now, does that mean 10 years down the line I think it's killer? No, it doesn't always work out that way. At the time I did, and we certainly tried 100% to make the best record we could, but they're all different, you know. But yeah, Crowbar, I think we'll stick to, you know, just we're writing 10 songs. Some of our songs really tend to be in the 4.5 to 5 minute range.
Yeah.
So that helps out, instead of like, you know, I mean, we, you know, like we have a few of our more like hardcore style songs, you know, only run in the 3 minute range. But for the most part, the more melodic, slower, doomier stuff and all that shit tends to run in the 4.5 to 5.5 minute really range. So I mean, 10 songs is fucking plenty.
Well, you do fly that influence though, right? Because you do kind of come from a hardcore background, though, right? Hardcore was kind of your first foray into like heavier music, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I went from, like, I discovered early new wave of British heavy metal first,
Yeah.
and then looking for something a little different. I mean, of course, just like everybody else, I was into, you know, thrash, early thrash for a bit. And actually, my band at the time was more of a thrash band, our originals. We were doing cover songs too. But even as a cover song band, we did, like, you know, Ride the Lightning. We did Looking Down the Cross off the first Megadeth record. We did Rain and Blood. We did Death from Above off the first Anthrax. You know, we did fucking Iron Fist by Motorhead, and, you know, a couple of others. We did Ramones songs and shit like that. That was, you know, and so I really started getting into really the late 80s. I started getting into like more East Coast hardcore, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a big part of Crowbar's sound, but that comes from Peter Steele with Carnivore.
Sure.
The perfect blend of Sabbath and fucking hardcore.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Slow shit was Doom, exactly. But
yeah,
slow shit was Doom and super heavy Sabbath riffs. And then the fast shit was like the angriest fucking hardcore shit you could ever find.
Yeah.
That's why that's one of my favorite albums of all time, Carnivore Retaliation.
Now you've gotten to tour the world, play festivals, do all this cool shit, man. Is there a celebrity or icon that you got to meet that really blew your mind? You know, where you're out playing somewhere and you meet somebody and afterwards you're like, I can't fucking believe I just got to meet him.
The only dude was Ace Frehley.
Okay.
And I mean, we did.
It's a big one.
It's a very big one. Like I met
Huge.
Gene. He's really cool. I mean, Ace is cool as fuck. I met him twice, but
Yeah.
Gene, would come to the Pantera shows, and I got to actually have a few little chats with him here and there. He was super
Yeah.
nice, but I was, for some reason, as big a Kiss fan, I was an Ace guy. So we go to this black carpet, I don't know, I forget, Golden Gods Awards or some shit back in like 2014, and Robin and I go, and we're on the same label as Ace, which at the
Yeah.
time was E1. Now it's Monarch, Monarch Heavy.
Yep.
For us because we're a heavier band. But so the publicist is like, yeah, Ace is upstairs from you right now. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah, I got y'all's table right next to where he's going to be. And I'm all nervous going over. So I go over and do the little thing and meet a couple of people and do the pictures and whatnot. And I go, grab a fucking beer or something. And I look, and there's Ace sitting there with his girlfriend. And I'm like, I looked at Robin. I said, I can't go over there. She goes, are you nervous? I said, babe, I'm shitting my fucking pants. Are
You
you
were
kidding?
fanboying. You were fanboying
Yeah,
out.
I'm like, and she goes, I got this. She's like, Mr. Ace, hey, Mr. A. And he's like, hey, and she's like, my husband's a huge fan. He's on your, same label as you, and he's really scared to meet you. He's like, oh, come on over, so he let us take a couple of pictures. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's the only dude I've ever been starstruck, and I met some big stars, I have had the pleasure. I'll say the other thing, that the closest thing that came to that was in 2013. We flew to London at the beginning of the tour for Down, and Phil was receiving like a Kerrang magazine or a Metal Hammer magazine, like probably Kerrang, like Lifetime Achievement Award for Pantera.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting down, and they got this huge round table, and there's there's a gigantic bucket with like beers and wine and all kind of liquor and all this shit in the middle. So everybody's just having some drinks, and then we're looking around, and I'm like, oh my god, like the tables were split out pretty good, but I would say like 6-7 feet from us was Brian May and Roger Taylor from Queen there
That's
to
huge.
receive the Queen Lifetime Achievement Award, and their buddy hanging out happened to be Jeff Beck.
Wow.
So they're sitting back having their little drinks and shit. And I'm like, so they tell you beforehand, they're like, look, he's like as soon as it was about to end, they're like, there's no photos, only professional photos of people with passes and shit, like real photo people. You can go up to the guys and meet them. So I'm texting Robin, I'm like, Jesus. And she's like, what? I'm like, oh my God, babe. I'm like, fucking Brian May and Roger Taylor from Queen and Jeff Beck are fucking 6, 7, 8 feet from me. And I'm like, I can't stop looking over there, I'm like, fuck, this is great. So they're like real rock royalty, kind of like
Oh,
Ace
yeah.
TV.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, after the show, we were able to meet them. And I mean, there are photos somewhere. Of course, nobody cared to print them because, I mean, who gives a shit that we met those guys after the award show?
Right.
It's not big news, but
Right.
but it was still great to meet him. Now, I mean, dude, most people I met, Dio was one of the nicest guys ever.
Yeah.
A little starstruck to meet Iommi too, but Ace took the cake for me. And just being, the 10, 11-year-old kid, 12-year-old kid in me just
No
came
doubt.
back to life. Like when I used to dream of, I'd be sitting in that night trying to fall asleep. I'd listen to like Kiss Alive 1 or something. And I used to lay there and like picture that I'd hear like a noise, and it would be the four dudes walking down the hall.
Yeah.
Coming to my bedroom because I had
Yeah.
Kiss posters everywhere,
Yeah.
So the little kid in me that picked up the guitar came to life meeting Ace.
No doubt, no doubt. And usually I tie all this up with asking somebody their Desert Island album if they were staring at a desert island. I feel like you've answered it though. Your Desert Island album will be Kissed Alive.
Yeah, Live One would do it for me, man. I've listened to that album more than any record ever. I mean, I have 4 or 5 copies of vinyl, honestly, in this pile of record of Kiss Alive, because it gets scrapped out. That's old shit. I mean, I got it on CD 3, 4, 5 times. Now Robin got me the 50th anniversary thing. So I want to they have a poster in there of the 2 dudes on the back of a Live One, like at Cobo Hall in Detroit, with the little sign they made. The sign, they were smart enough to preserve it like in a climate controlled atmosphere and all wrapped up and shit like that. And they took a picture, like, I don't know, it was a little while back, maybe like 10 years ago or something. They took a picture of them standing in an empty Cobo Hall now. And of course, they're like fat and bald and shit, you know.
Right.
And they were like skinny dudes with teenage dudes with long hair and shit,
Right.
smoking weed and whatever. But, and they, you know, they did that. And like inside the album, inside the boxing, which is really nice, it's about 2.5, 3 inches thick of all the stuff they put in. They have that poster. And it's, you know, it was folded really neatly. I unfolded it once and I put it back, and I told Robin, I'm getting that framed. We have a frame shop like a block and a half from the house, and the frame shop's really pricey. I said, I don't give a fuck.
It's worth
what
it.
Would they charge me? It'd be $500. I'm getting it. I'm not rich, but like I'm getting that thing framed. How many times I sat there and stared at the back of that album cover?
I know.
It is unbelievable, man. So that would be my Desert Island album, no doubt.
I figured. Now, I may have bounced this off of, I can't remember who, because like I told you on the phone, I've had a bunch of artists from New Orleans on here, but I'll bounce it off for you because I feel like maybe this is something you could get done. All the great bands that are from New Orleans and that whole scene, any chance of getting you guys all on some big fucking package fucking tour? I mean, it's great that CROWBAR and I Hate God are out. I mean, could we get a big traveling fucking tour of CROWBAR and I Hate God and Soylent Green and Acid Bath and Exhorter? Can we make this happen, Kirk?
It'd be nice. I mean, the Hellfest lineup for one of the stages this year is Down, Acid Bath, COC. I want to say I Hate God, Soylent Green.
Holy fuck, that's like a New Orleans fucking fan. Yeah. Wait, hold on, man. You got a little broken up there for a minute.
No, Robin was texting too, but
okay.
But no, it's okay. But I mean, I didn't. It's like I told him. I said I'm not afraid of doing double duty. It's just
right.
In order for CROWBAR, I got to bring. It's just a fly date for Down. It's one show.
Right.
So I think COC is going to be doing dates leading up to that over in Europe. So you know, COC will already be there, but you know, I'll be over there with Pat. But I mean, we'd have to fly Matt and Tommy in, and then it would just, you know, we have to bring different guitars, different the whole 9 yards. It's just too much. But I mean,
you know what we need, Kirk? We need NOLA Fest. We need fucking NOLA Fest.
Well, there's actually a little talk about it, and I'm not going to get into it at all, except to say that, you know, Bill would be very involved. But I mean, there's a potential. I'll say this, and without like spilling the beans or anything, because it's not, you know, it's just occasionally brought up. But there's talk about, why don't we just do the Down, COC, CROWBAR, I Hate God, like Soylent Green thing or something. Like Acid Bath doesn't really tour.
Right.
Which I get, you know, and I mean, they're killing it doing what they're doing, so it's fine. Right. I mean, if we got Down, COC, CROWBAR, I Hate God, and Soylent Green, that's enough, you know.
That's enough. Yeah, that's a lot.
And, you know, you can go play your show, and, you know, like for me, you know, I mean, CROWBAR would probably, us and I God usually flip or whatever, you know, depending, it doesn't matter. Right. I don't give a shit. Like going into that tour, we both said, I'd rather open every night because everybody wants to get it done, have fun, you know, and then chill a little bit. And, you know, so like whoever was headlining, the other guy would be like, yeah, have fun, you know, getting off stage late tonight. I'll be done, man. You know, so we were fucking around with it. But we flip around a little bit, and we don't care. There's no egos. We just said, look, we both control our own merchandise and sell it at whatever price we want, because a lot of times the headlining band makes you price match, which I don't really agree with. But you know, still, I mean, I get it when you're close to the same level, but I ain't gotten CROWBAR same, you know, to us it's the same thing. So we just said, look, as long as we both get the exact same amount of money each night, including back end, like if the show sells out, we get bonus money, we split that 50-50. As long as we get paid the same, we don't give it. I'll go on at 3 in the afternoon. You know what? That doesn't bother me. Whatever. I can go on at 10 at night. I don't care. There's no egos. It's just about, it's a great tour and two great bands that get along great. And we have the NOLA thing in common, and we're both heavy music, but we really don't sound like each other. So it really works great. Yeah.
I'm looking at the list, man. And as I told you on the phone, man, I mean, per capita with 365 episodes of this podcast, man, I'm looking at the list. I've added you. I've had Matt on twice. I've had Tommy on. I've had Jimmy on twice. I've had Vinny LaBella. I've had Kyle Thomas. I've had Sasha on, and I've had Brian Patton on twice. And Mike Williams. And Mike Williams has promised me an interview. So,
well, get it out of Mike, man.
That's a lot of you guys. Yeah. Oh, no. It just, a lot of times it's just scheduling conflicts, this kind of thing. You know what I mean? But
Jimmy, have you had Jimmy?
I've had Jimmy on twice. Yeah.
Say, because he'll do it in a second. He's,
Yeah.
I mean, who else would love to do it? I know Matt did too. If Tommy did one too, you really ought to get Pat, because
I will.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize Pat was in the band. Tommy and Pat joined in 2004. Tommy never left. Pat left in 2013 and came back in 2025. But he was in the band for 9 years, So, and this current lineup, which I hope is the last fucking lineup, it's like, I mean, things happen in life, but you got to, you just got to take it as it comes. But, we all wrote and recorded together the Seven of the Wicked Hand record, which I really love. It's a really strong record. It came out, and I think we wrote it and recorded it in 2010. It came out in 2011, I think. But so we're excited to do a new record with this line. This lineup is great. We've known each other. I've known Pat since the late 90s. I've known Tommy since 1986. So we're going on 40 years of friendship, here. So, we've known each other since we're really young, and I know, Matt used to work at the local music store I go to a lot, and we met there, and we were friends before. Like, he used to live like right across the street, like in an apartment complex, kind of. It's hard to explain, but it wasn't far. As the crow flies, it wasn't far, but it took a minute or two to get there. But on Saturdays and Sundays, when I was married to my daughter's mother, she would take Haley, my daughter, who's now a college graduate, but I had to throw that in again. But she'd take her to go by her mom's, and she's a nurse. Nicole is Haley's mother, and she would work a 12-hour shift. She would go up Friday afternoon, and Haley's grandmother would take care of her while Nicole was at work. But she would work a 16-hour on Saturday and a 16-hour on Sunday. At the nursing home she still works at, and they'd give her 8 ghost hours. So her whole week was leaving Friday, coming back Monday afternoon, but Saturday and Sunday, she'd work 16 per day, and they'd add 8 ghost hours onto a paycheck, so she'd get the 40-hour weekend. And really, like Matt, we got into this thing because he's a huge, football fan as well. And both of us are really more college fans than NFL, but we'll watch anything. I'll watch fucking Bob Warner game at the local playground. I just love football. But Matt would come over every Saturday morning, and we'd eat whatever the fuck we wanted, watch as much college ball as possible, drink as much beer as possible, and then go to sleep. And he'd come back Sunday morning, and we'd get up, he'd take a shower, get cleaned up at his apartment, I'd get cleaned up at the house, jump in the shower, and we go hit the fucking grocery, buy a couple of cases of beer, a bunch of fucking food and shit, just sit around and have NFL day. We'd listen to a game on the radio while we're watching, cooking around 4 and 5, and we'd both have a guitar in our hands the whole time. So we're just fucking around going, doesn't get much better than this, dude. We're having pizza and beer and football, and we're playing fucking guitar. This is great. So we became friends. This is way before you joined the band.
Yeah. That's how me and my wife are. I mean, me and my wife are both nurses, but I work in a nursing home. She works on labor and delivery. So we always make the joke that she's kind of seeing them coming into the world. And unfortunately, I'm usually seeing them going out.
Yeah. I mean, like when I was, still with Haley's mother, I mean, she'd be, how was work? And she's like, oh God, Miss So-and-so,
that's
passed away, and it's, tried to give her CPR and she was too old, her ribs are it's like,
I mean, not that my wife doesn't come home with some sorrow. Obviously, babies can pass away too, and it is absolutely horrible. I mean, she certainly sees, her share. Probably not to the degree that I do, but what I mean, when it is sad at her job, it's really fucking sad. I mean, I'm expecting the people that I work with, I mean, they're at the end of their lives already. So I mean, I mean, it is what it is. I
mean, even my father, like toward the end of his life, is like
he's getting up there in age.
22, and he but like the last couple of months, it's like the quality of life. He never lost his mind, which is really a good thing. And
Yeah. Yeah, that's important, man, when they don't lose their mind. I see a lot of that, unfortunately.
But I mean, at the end, I'm like telling my sister, I'm like, and Robin, because he loved Robin. I'm like,
I'm not trying to talk over you. Anytime that I talk, it's just because you're getting frozen on your end. So I'm just compensating for the fact that
yeah, no, it's all good.
when they try to talk over you, just like I'll see you get frozen. I'll be like, okay, I know he's in the middle of saying something on his end, so I better jump in here and say something so I don't have any dead air. But
excuse me. Yeah, but I mean, toward the end of my dad's life, it's like he was ready to go, And
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you do now? Just like start praying that he's just gonna go. It's kind of it sounds wrong, but he's ready to go. So you kind of get selfish, trying to keep him alive too long, and we weren't going to do that. And I mean, look, his life took over, and he just we knew he was going to go, but yeah, I mean, it's when it's like that, it's not. I wasn't even necessarily sad. I was happy for my dad.
Yeah.
He had a great life, and and
I think it's better to have quality than quantity. It is.
It is. I mean, he still made it like a month and 1 day shy of 82 years old. So
yeah,
for an amputee diabetic with fucking to chain smoke fucking 3 packs of cigarettes a day and 8 fast food his whole
82
life.
Ain't bad. Yeah.
No, he had a pretty good run considering he never really tried to do it. That's a lot of the reason I try to take care of myself,
You have to. Yeah. Listen, man, I really appreciate this, man. We've gone an hour and 45 minutes, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I could probably sit here and talk to you all fucking night, man. Really.
Me too, man. I'm either.
Really super happy to know you, man. Please keep in touch, man. We'll definitely do this again, man. I really enjoyed it, man. Really means, and it really means a lot too, man. I mean, I started this podcast from nothing, man. The people that have been on here just blows me away, man. Being an independent podcaster and having you fucking call me on my fucking phone before this as a fan, you know what I mean? It's like Ace Frehley calling you. I'm such a fan, that I can't believe.
I don't know about that, but still.
I can interact with people though, man, who I admire and I respect, man, and it really means a lot, man. So, and I appreciate you being so generous with your time. And please, again, thank your wife. A lot of times, man, we're lucky. We have these good women looking out for us, man. Fucking Stacy helped me set up the Tommy one. I got a good wife that fucking keeps me on the straight and narrow most of the time. So
you got to. I mean, I like to think I'll stay on the straight and narrow on my own.
We try
because I know better.
Yeah.
But she's the best for me. She's the best, and she's great at working these things out. Like, okay, babe, this guy's been hitting me up, and I'm like, and I mean, I apologize. It's just,
Oh no! Listen, man, you're a busy guy, man, with an itinerary, man. I have no itinerary. I have the day job, and I got the side hustles, the podcast, and I got some grandkids running around to keep my hands full or whatever, man. But I understand, man, getting busy and stuff, though, man. But you know what I mean? She always was kind enough to touch base with me, even if it had been a couple weeks, and she'd always let me know, hey, we haven't forgot about you. We haven't forgot about you. You know what I mean? We're gonna get to it. So it means a lot, man. Really.
But yeah, thanks, Mark. I mean, look, I whenever it's been long enough, let's do it again for sure.
My pleasure. Yeah. Keep in touch, man. Drop me a message once in a while, man. And listen, man, I hope you guys have a great holiday, man.
You too. Thanks so much, brother. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. We'll do it again, man. Thanks so much, Kirk. Thank you, brother.
You got it.
Later, man. All right. Thanks. Later. Wow. I'm just going to say it, folks. That's how I want to end that podcast, with a big wow. An amazing conversation with a legend to me, the amazing KIRK WINDSTEIN of CROWBAR. Holy shit, man. I'm not even going to elaborate and drone on and fawn and I tend to do that a lot, and I drag these things out at the end after my guest signs off. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to mar an already incredible conversation, man. I'm just blown away by again, this is what I like to do, man. We're all over the board with it, man. We're moving all over the place, talking about many different things. At the end of the day, I hope this podcast comes across as just a fan talking to really, KIRK identifies himself as a fan who gets the privilege to go out and do what he loves to do. But at the end of the day, two guys just chewing the fat, chopping it up. Like I always say, man, every time I put the episodes up on YouTube or on Facebook, I always use the term. Today, this episode, Rexx chops it up with, and that's what we're doing, man. Chopping it up. Just two guys yakking, man. So that's, at the end of the day, what I like my podcast to be about. No pretentious questions, no fabricated stuff, no cookie cutter. Who's your influence? Tell me about this album. Listen, anybody that does that, all fine and well and good. And maybe I do ask that and find creative ways to ask it. But at the end of the day, I just want to have conversations with people that I admire and respect. And Kirk is just one of those guys, man. He's given me, us as fans, I'm speaking about myself, 12 fucking perfect albums to me, man. I mean, Crowbar, it really is a band that helped me, as I kind of alluded to in the conversation with Kirk, kind of helped me redefine and assess what heavy meant to me. And I'm glad we brought up the Alice in Chains, because obviously if you've watched this podcast, you know that Lane, Mark Lanigan, there's a couple of those Seattle bands that really mean a lot to me specifically. Lane Staley and Alice in Chains for me is definitely one of those bands with a lot of emotion and definitely a rawness and a heaviness that you don't often associate when you're thinking of heavy. You're thinking blast beats, you're thinking growling and evil and, demonic stuff. And Crowbar is one of those bands that, as I get older, started to make me understand that heavy is takes on many forms and many different definitions, man. And it's just great to see them out there, man. And as Kirk said, it's great to see them actually now getting some accolades and really getting their flowers, so to speak, man. And sold out shows with the on the I Hate God tour, and most importantly, great to hear that Kirk is bouncing back from his health issues. For people that might not know, he spent I don't want to speculate how many shows, but there was a portion of that tour where he was playing sitting down. His back issues were so bad. As he said, did not cancel the tour, did not postpone, did not do any of that kind of stuff, man. Gutted it out, toughed it out, put the fans first, put the music first, man. You gotta fucking salute that, man. And he's just, listen, a legend, not even just in the NOLA scene, in the metal scene in general, man. Crowbar has quietly been doing it for fucking damn near 40 fucking years, man. And they've been a mainstay, man. Crowbar is going to be Crowbar. I think Kirk said that a couple times in there, man. Crowbar is Crowbar. Listen, they're not reinventing the wheel, man, but they're fucking one of the most consistent bands in the metal genre, man. That churning out meaningful, powerful, emotive, and heavy, apocalyptically heavy albums time after time after time. The last one was Zero and Below, which came out in 2022. As Kirk said, expect new music, probably more realistically 2027. Good news, expect new Down. And again, this is coming from Kirk in 2026. And, if you want to hear some new stuff from Kirk, he just dropped Ethereal Waves in October, his solo album. So you can go check that out too. And of course, if you are a fan, here's my caveat on fandom. Make sure you're being a good fan. If you are a Crowbar fan or would like to be a Crowbar fan or a fan of any artist that comes on here, really be about it. Go to the websites, get on mailing lists, sign up for newsletters. Most importantly, go to live shows if they're coming near you. Cop some merchandise, either at the show or off their website. Stream the music, buy the album, get the vinyl, go out and say hi to the guys at these shows. Go to the merch booth. Really be a good fan, because these bands are out there grinding and hustling, and they are not making Taylor Swift fucking money, man. They're out there doing the damn thing, man, in sweaty clubs, on tour buses, in vans. You know what I mean? They're not exactly living the plush rock star life, man. And they're out there doing it for the love of the damn thing, the love of music, the love of the fans, the love of the interaction, the love of the art and the creativity, man. So, I like to sprinkle that in there, man. And I'm always going to be about that, man, because I'm a fan. I go out, I get merch, and I'm not tooting my own horn, man. But listen, if I love an artist, man, I am throwing my support behind an artist. And that's where I'll get off my soapbox right there. Again, I want to thank the viewers, the subscribers, of course, the guests, always so generous with their time. Today, an hour and 45 minutes with the great KIRK WINDSTEIN. My sincere gratitude for him spending that much time and tolerating me for that long. Really was a pleasure, man. An absolute honor, really, for me. I'll run down my obligatory promotional spiel one more time and pimp my own podcast here for one more moment, if you will indulge me. Make sure to tap in with PodScum on Facebook. Again, the handle is Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum. I got 2 separate podcasts, and I will not have a separate Facebook or Instagram for both of them. That's too much time on social media, folks. I got a fucking life to live. So I promote them both on one Facebook. And that Facebook is Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum. Same on Instagram. Off the Couch Boxing and PodScum. And if you're watching us here right now, again, please like, please subscribe, and please smash that notification bell so you'll be in the loop when that new content drops. And I'm bringing you something new every week, trying my damnedest. I think I was in the middle of saying before Kirk jumped in here that with the holidays here, it's hard to infringe on people that want to spend time with loved ones, family, friends. It might slow down a bit. We might go on a temporary hiatus until after the new year, but 2026, we will be cranking it back up again. The PodScum machine rolls on. I've got lots of great tricks up my sleeve and interviews in the works, and lots of surprises, man. So stay tuned, man. We aren't going anywhere, but it might slow down a bit. Good news is, if you're on the channel right now, we've got 360 some odd episodes of PodScum, past episodes, and 300 episodes of Off the Couch Boxing. So we got plenty of back episodes that you guys can tap into, and there's literally something there for everybody, man. So I appreciate all the support, man. I love you guys, man. I hope everybody's having an amazing holiday season, man. We're 1 week away from Christmas at the time of this recording. Have a safe, blessed, happy holidays, man, to all you guys, man. And specifically, man, thanks again to the great KIRK WINDSTEIN. Go out and become a CROWBAR fan. That's a fucking order from your boy Reckless Rexx, man. And until we get together and we do this thing again, remember to take it easy and keep it sleazy.